I think the first question is the most important one in some ways. Why go to Hong Kong? Can't you find everything on Google here? In some ways I have created a slight rod for my own back because I found out a lot using public resources such as company registries, land registries, shareholder information, all available publicly online, all downloadable, etc, etc. Couple that with a black belt in Google Foo and you can understand why do you even need to go? The answer is actually in two parts. Firstly, not every piece of information that we need is available online. For example, court documents, not all court documents are online. Some of them you have to present yourself to the court with a form, some ID, some money, and ask for it nicely. And there's some court documents that I would quite like to see, specifically pertaining to Carson. For example, I don't think anyone's aware, but Carson's house had the receivers in the company that owned his house, and those receivers that were appointed are the same ones that were appointed as Boeing International Holdings. So why? What was going on there? I'm intrigued. Things like that. And the second, more important part of the trip is it's about speaking to people. Now you can send emails, you can phone people, but it's easy to ignore emails. It's easy to not answer the phone. If you knock someone's door with a camera, it's a little bit harder to say go away, and people can see that you've done that. And it's not just about going and saying and trying to find Trillion Trophy Asia or Ernst & Young or both. Or it'd be a great start if we did, but there's other people that I can meet and ask questions of. For example, who has Trillion Trophy Asia worked with in the past? What are their perceptions of him? What do they think? Do they think he's got money? Do they think he's in it for the long term? That sort of thing. I've got contacts in the press in Hong Kong. I think if somebody had spoken to them before Carson had taken charge, we might have had a better idea of what he was like. I've got connections within BIHL itself as well, and I've got a meeting with one of those planned. It might mean I have to go over the border into mainland China. I've done that twice before, not an issue. What do I want to find out? Well, who are TTA? We know nothing about them virtually. Who exactly are they and what their intentions are? They see Blues as a long-term project or something to be spun off and they've gained control of the stock list in Hong Kong. Are we going to get someone in who's a business person who can run it properly? Or have they got sustainability as a plan, or is it going to be Carson the second? Is it going to be someone who's going to listen to fans, someone who's going to involve fans, someone who's going to take no notice of us? Oh, is it going to be something good, something different, or are we just jumping from the frying pan into the fire? We don't know any of this. And one thing we do know is that the Football League's owners and directors test, the so-called fit and proper persons test, is neither fit nor proper. Forewarned is forearmed, is the way I see it. How? I've kind of touched on this already. First of all, proper investigative journalism. Knocking doors, asking questions. As I said, it's harder for Ernst & Young if I go up to Boeing International Holdings with a camera and a mic and a dictaphone, shove it in their face and say, what do you want to say about this? It's harder for them to say no, and even if they do say no, I can go back and say, well, they said no. People can see with their own eyes that these people aren't talking to us. As I said before, speaking to people who've dealt with the name we do know, the guy behind Trillion Trophy Asia we do know is a guy called Paul Soon Cho Hung. Understand who he is, how he runs businesses. Is he a good man? Is he honourable? There are no photos of him in the press ever. This is which to me says one of two things: either one, he's really good at being low profile and he's just an average workday businessman. Or two, he doesn't like having his photo taken because he doesn't want to be on wanted posters. I can't work out which I'm believing yet, but I'd like to get an idea from speaking to other people before I make a decision on that. And again, the other thing I want to do is obtain documentation while I'm out there. Ask the right questions, get right answers, and it might mean that I have to go and chase up documents while I'm there. Easily done. It's not a case of there's a set itinerary. I've got ideas of what I need to do, but it's like pulling a piece of thread, seeing when it unravels and following it. What about Carson and Panu? They're both low priority at the moment. Carson came to a deal with Ernst & Young, which I'll come to later. Panu is in negotiation with a deal with BIHL, which I'll come to later. As they kind of seem to be out of the picture at the moment. If I need to get hold of them, it's doable. I know where to find them both. I know how to speak to them both without using anyone else's contacts. I mean, it might be a little bit scary going up to Penny's office, but I've been there before.
Daniel, sorry to interrupt our name in full flow, but just whilst I remember, because it wasn't one of the questions, you know you said that guy Paul Sin Chow Hong...
Paul Soon Cho Hong, yeah.
Yeah, that was behind them. When you say behind them, what do you mean? Is he a director, or how do you know that?
He's the beneficial
Right,
owner.
how do I know that? Because there was a document filed with Companies House in the UK for a mortgage on St Andrews, which said the beneficial owner of Trillion Trophy Asia was Paul Soon Cho Hong of Unit 1501, Great Eagle Centre, Wan Chai, Hong Kong.